So, good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Leach. I'm a U2 and multi-value consultant in the UK, although clients all around the world, and particularly focused on trying to get messages about multi-value out. So, to train people in using multi-value in the most modern ways that we can, to look at taking the best aspects of the rest of the industry and applying those to multi-value. So for the next 4 days, we're going to have some fun. We're going to learn some stuff about jBASE. We're going to learn some stuff about multi-value. We're going to learn some stuff about the ways that you work with multi-value. And just to be clear, this is jBASE for multi-value developers. In other words, this is pitched at people who know multi-value already. Okay, you don't need to be maybe full-time developers on it, just as long as you have an engagement with multi-value. If this were for people who are completely new to multi-value, I would be running this in a different way. When I train people into multi-value who've come from other backgrounds or new graduates or offshore QA teams or whatever it is, then I always start with .NET. I get them writing a .NET application, and the first thing they'll do is they'll use whatever is the appropriate middleware. You guys are going to be using JRemote, the C# towards the end of this course, so we'll be doing some of that. So I get them to make those connections, and then I talk about the workspaces that they're connecting into, and that introduces the idea of accounts. So from there, we then get them doing maintenance forms, so we get them writing some stuff so that they can actually see some of the multi-value data in a nice Windows form. And then we introduce the idea of file objects and what the files are and dynamic arrays and so forth. And then we do the updates and teach them locking, and we do browsers and we teach the inquiry language and so forth. So all the time they're going from a place of safety, a place that they know, so Visual Studio, onwards and learning multi-value as if it is an extension of that world. And that way, they don't run away. They actually like it because they see where it's coming from, and they see it as part of their currency, part of the sort of world that they deal with. Now, for this course, I want to do sort of the same thing. I want to take you from a place of comfort, which is multi-value, and take you through some areas of maybe some slight discomfort to begin with, but to make sure that you understand where jBASE fits into all of that. So, like I say, this is for multi-value developers. This is not the way that I would teach new people. So, a little bit of a word as to how this course is going to go, because we've got a lot to cover in the 4 days. Day one, well, it's really organized into 4 sections. I know we've called them day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. That's not necessarily going to be days. There'll be these 4 sections. Section 1, what we're covering today, is really understanding where jBASE comes from, understanding the architectural differences that inform everything else in the jBASE world. And for that, we're going to take this slow today, and unfortunately, you're going to have to listen to me talking quite a lot for this one and following on. So there'll be exercises, but it'll be largely a question of sort of follow me exercises today, because we need to get those fundamentals understood. Then tomorrow, having taught you that everything is different, we then start looking at the stuff that is the same, so that you're back in your comfort zone. We'll get you doing some stuff, but maybe in some different ways. So at that point, it's going to become much more workshop-y. You're going to be doing much more stuff on your own. There's going to be much more examples, much more hands-on. And this is kind of how the course is going to develop. So day 3 is kind of the odd one, because some of you I know are coming from what I call the PICIC side. So your regular PIC D3 style of things, whereas some of you are coming from the PRIMIC side. So the old prime information as through Universe, Unidata, OpenQM, that style of things. So jBASE obviously combines elements of these, but it's best to know which half is which and which one is best to use. So for day 3, there'll be some stuff that's going to be really familiar to some of you and new to others, depending upon which side you've come from. But we're going to look at those two sides and how they work in jBASE. And also, we're going to be workshopping some slightly different ways of doing things and looking at some of the cool stuff that you can do as well. And then day 4 is looking to the future. So day 4 is when we start to bring in .NET more. So we're going to be doing some work with JRemote. We're going to be doing some RESTful stuff as well. So you're going to be creating some RESTful services. And looking at some of the new stuff that's coming into jBASE with the new JSON representations and the JSON-style objects that are coming into there.